Hi, I'm Mike, one half of Ketolicious Kitchens. Today's video isn't a recipe video, but rather a quick update on how things have gone with the barbacoa pit. It's been a year since we've put it in the ground, believe it or not, and we get a lot of questions about how well it's holding up. I think a lot of people are nervous about putting this kind of investment in the ground in terms of time and materials, and just want to know whether it's going to be holding together a year later. The good news is it's done really well, but let's take a look at some of the details. Okay, so just a refresher from the barbacoa pit video. There's just a handful of components to look at. We are going to look at the lid. We're going to look at how things are with the brick wall that's inside the pit, the grate, and then the bottom as far as the river rocks. Okay, so let's look at the lid first. Recall this was a replacement fire pit bowl. I bought it as a service part on Amazon. Drilled a couple of holes on each side, bought some cabinet handles at the hardware store and attached them, flipped it upside down, and that was my cover, and that's what I used as the lid, and basically sized the top ring of the pit around that. And so the lid's held up really well. I mean, there's a few little rust marks where the paint has started to come off of the top. Probably going to be a problem maybe in a few years, but definitely not after 1 year. Everything else is looking pretty good around the handles and so forth, not rusting out. We live in Arizona, so it's really dry. We don't have to worry about salt air or anything, so maybe it's a different set of concerns on the coast or elsewhere. But so far, the old fire pit replacement bowl has worked out really well as the cover for this pit. And so the underside of the lid is done really well. You would kind of expect that, given that that's supposed to be exposed to fire and heat anyway, but no issues there whatsoever. The finish is holding up really well. Okay, so now let's take a look at the brick lining of the fire pit, the walls. I think this is an area of concern that most people have had when they've asked about it, is just really how well does this brick hold up under the heat and in the ground. And as you can see here, it has held up really well. And it's not like I washed the inside of this pit. I know it looks really clean, but actually that's what happens when you use the pits and you get that kind of heat. It's like a self-cleaning oven. Basically, all the ash and soot that's on the side as you're burning the wood is gone. It's washed off by the heat like a self-cleaning oven and just looks immaculate when you're done cooking. So anyway, it's real easy to see how the bricks look. And as you can see here, don't have bricks dissolving or parts and pieces falling out. The hole has held its shape really well. The bricks are packed pretty well together. There's a little bit of sand that you can see that's crept through on the top surfaces of some of the bricks, but not so much that I think I would use any mortar on this, other than perhaps on the very top ring at the ground level to kind of keep the dirt from working its way through and down in the hole. But otherwise, everything has gone fine just by stacking those bricks and putting them in a circular pattern and just packing the sand and dirt behind them. It's held up really well. Okay, so we're getting some close-ups of the bottom of the pit where the river rock is. Recall in the original video, the river rock was sitting on top of hard-packed soil with gravel on top of that. And what you can see here is a mix of a lot of ash from a lot of wood that's burned, as well as some soil that's fallen in from the top whenever you remove the blanket that's covered with soil to actually cook in the pit. Some of that soil falls in. So that said, I am going to go ahead and pull those rocks out before we start the second season here, and get the ash and the dirt out and put some more gravel down. These rocks are there to help hold and absorb the heat, act as heat sinks to help, keep heat in the bottom of the pit after the coals have burned down. All right, well, that's it. Year one, barbacoa pit. It's done really well. No regrets whatsoever. I think everything, the way that it's come out, has gone really well. We've cooked a lot of great meat in it. We've had friends and family over. They love watching the process, so it's super entertaining in that regard. If you've been on the fence, I would recommend doing it. If you've got any questions, definitely drop a line in the comments and I'll try to give you whatever information I can share. It's a learning process all the way. And I'm sure there's a lot of variations to this you can do wherever you live. But this process, the way it's come together and the way that it's held up, it's doing great. Enjoy.